Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're here with Jason Goldberg, who is the CEO and founder of Pepo. Can you start off just by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hey, thanks, Scott. Really appreciate you having on me. Yeah, so let's see. I'm a long-time entrepreneur. Been founding companies for nearly 20 years. The first startup I worked at in technology space was at AOL. I worked at AOL chat rooms back in late 1990s. So really got to understand like the early days of internet community, and then started companies such as Jobster, Social Median, one of the first kind of social news aggregators back in 2008. Sold that. That was back basically before the Facebook newsfeed, before Twitter took off, and so we were helping people figure out what to read every day based on what their friends were reading. So it was pretty kind of innovative at the time. We were pretty big, pretty fast. And then we sold the company, and then started a company called Fab.com, which was a pioneer in e-commerce, curated commerce, design commerce, and then a company called Hem, which was direct-to-consumer, private label furniture design, which is still doing really well today. You go into pretty much any WeWork in the world, and a lot of the furniture is from Hem, hem.com. And and then 2016, I got really passionate about trying to create the internet of money, and that led me into what I do today. And so, I've been going on this since then, so I can jump in and tell you a little about what we've been working on for the last 4 years. But it's been quite a build. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it seems like quite a journey you've had with a lot of different entrepreneurial ventures. So what does your average day look like now with everything that you got going on?
Yeah, so I mean, the critical thing to understand, first of all, is that we've been building a technology platform, OST technology. OST stands for Open Simple Token, since 2016. And basically, when we looked out at the world in 2016 and saw like, okay, programmable money, and there's gonna be this internet of money, that the way I looked at it was like, okay, first we had the internet of kind of content, then we had the internet of people, and now we're the internet of money. And we saw this opportunity to, different people looked at crypto and saw different things. And what we saw was the ability to basically enable kind of, microtransactions, enable kind of zero fee microtransactions to be embedded into any application. So a huge like seismic shift from, let's say, the world today where you have credit card processing and bank processing that basically makes it unaffordable to have any transaction online for less than $1, right? And with blockchain, you could have peer-to-peer decentralized transactions. You could basically have any kind of action in an app or website result in a value transfer, and you can do that for less than a fraction of a cent once you optimize these blockchains. And it's like, okay, whole new thing you create. And so what we've been working on for the last 4 years is how do you go from kind of, okay, the possibility of making something like that happen to the reality of a company actually embedding that into their applications. And so we built basically a full stack technology platform that includes protocols for how do you kind of run transactions on layer 2 Ethereum. So you basically offload heavy transaction volumes off of layer 1 to kind of more scalable, lower cost layer 2, while still maintaining all the smart contract infrastructure. So that was the OpenST protocol that we wrote back in 2017. To another protocol we wrote called Mosaic, which we're still doing a lot of work on, which is how do you prove all those transactions happen on layer 2 back on layer 1 so that you still leverage layer 1 Ethereum is like the absolute truth. And that's a huge scaling kind of mechanism. And then from the business facing kind of elements of that, like what our customers use, our clients use, is all the APIs and SDKs to embed that into any application, including, I think most importantly from a user experience standpoint, is the wallet SDK, so that you can embed a kind of a full Ethereum smart contract wallet into any application, such that end users don't even need to know what gas is. They don't need to write down 12 words. They can just use it just like they would any other app. So to answer your question, what does the typical day for me look like? Well, so the core business is this OST technology, right? And so we've been building it for 4 years. I'm a product manager, product designer. Work really closely with our engineers on every aspect of the stack. And about March of last year, we looked and said, okay, we're really close to bringing this to market. And the hypothesis we had was that if we really wanted to get adoption, the best thing we could do was to just build a use case and show people the technology in action. And that's what led us to build the Pepo app, which you mentioned. And so we went out and talked to people, and user interviews is basically our lifeblood. And we kind of talked to people, trying to look for pain points, things that we could kind of, solve a problem, kind of build something that people need rather than just building something for the sake of building. And so we found like this need to enable people in micro communities, micro interests to have better, more authentic online conversations, to meet fellow people that share the same interests. We wrapped that in a 30-second video app that has the embedded crypto microtransactions in it. So every like now transfers value. So if you're a creator or a maker, you can earn more than just likes. You earn actual real money inside the Pepo app. And so we have that app that's live now, and it's really awesome because we launched it at DevCon last year in October in like a beta, and now we have a few thousand people. They've done over 100,000 transactions on it, and we've learned tons from them. And now we're really getting ready to, over the next few months, to take those learnings and start to bring it mainstream. So it started off as like an app for the crypto community, and now we're really getting ready to unleash it as just an app for anyone who's in a micro community. So what do I do every day? So what I do every day is I'd say my day is split into three things. I have to say that about 1/3 of my day is spent talking to the users of the Pepo app. And we do 20-30 minute interviews with 5-6 users a day. And it's it's labor intensive, it's time consuming, but we say it's the only way to figure out that we're building the right stuff, is to have these conversations. So that's 1/3 of my day. Another third of my day is talking to businesses, companies about implementing the OST technology, just like Pepo has. We have a number of implementations that are in progress, some really exciting launches happening in the next couple of weeks and months. And this is one that we're just willing it to happen, because we have companies that have been working on implementations, and then we thought some were going to launch into last year, and now it's like early in Q1 of this year and Q2 of this year. So really, really excited about getting that out there, space some more use cases. And then the other third is just, working with the team, motivating people, helping solve problems. What typical stuff that goes along with running a business is, it's all humans in the end until the robots take over. And, you gotta keep people happy and motivated, and, make sure that people are, working well together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot on.
Simple question ever.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate, and you kind of dived into it a little bit. But for people who have never heard of Pepo before, do you want to just give a brief introduction to that?
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, it's in the iOS and Android app stores. It's Pepo. We call it Pepo, which is a little peppy. It is 30-second video updates with video replies with seamlessly embedded crypto microtransactions. So, when I look at like social media, social kind of networks, I call it the 3 C's. There's basically people joining for the community. They stay around for the clout, right? And then they get really excited by actually being able to earn cash. And most social networks get the first two right, and the third one's been missing. Like, how do you enable the influencers or the people creating the content to actually earn from all this content they're giving to these platforms? And in Pepo, we have all 3 C's, right? So the whole intent of the app is that you join to participate in a micro community. I'd say one of the things that we learned, we thought crypto was the micro community when we launched, and we realized over the last couple of months that actually it's not. That within crypto, that's that crypto itself is like a very big community. And then you have micro communities, let's say people who are interested in DAOs or dApps or Bitcoin maximalists, or people are going to an event, or NFTs, whatever it might be. So now our next release is in time for ETH Denver in a couple of weeks, we're actually releasing this whole channel community feature, so you can create these little micro communities inside the app. But so basically you join the app, you create 30-second videos talking about any topic you want. People who share your interest get matched to these videos. They can reply to them, and then every instead of just giving you clout or followers, actually gives you real money. And we start every user off with 500 free Pepo coins. It's worth $5. And you have a real Ethereum layer 2 smart contract wallet in the app. It's like a slick user experience. So you'll never even know it's crypto unless you go 3 levels deep and try to look at the smart contracts, which you can. And then we are the first crypto-powered app approved by Apple and Google for cash in and cash out. So basically, you can top up in the app, you can buy more Pepo coins, and you can cash out in the app as well. So it's a really, really cool end-to-end experience.
Awesome. Awesome. So what did you guys set out to solve with Pepo?
Yeah, I mean, we basically we interviewed tons of people looking for gaps, and we heard a lot of things in the conversations. One is we heard that a lot of social media was really noisy, that people were kind of suffering from like the signal versus noise kind of problem. So like on Twitter, if you go through like lots of tweets and lots of trolls before you get to something interesting, and then we also people were searching for authenticity. That people felt like that a lot of social media had kind of devolved into not a place for kind of good conversation, but just a place for people screaming at each other, or kind of like kind of shouting here and there. So that's one of the things we heard. So that kind of led us thinking about things like video format, where it's harder to be an asshole if you're kind of using if you show your face. We heard from creators over and over again across all sorts of social media that they were struggling to earn. We heard from influencers that they were struggling to earn. We heard from a lot of people's frustration that if they built a following, so they invest in a platform, that they basically give so much of what they built to the platform in terms of if they get any sponsors or advertisers, that the platform is taking so much of it. And so we heard like this need to kind of build, and actually one of the things we also heard was like LinkedIn was kind of failing people. It's like I've been overrun with spam. People just kind of send like spam connection requests, and people were looking for more genuine, authentic ways to connect with people who shared their micro interests, to be able to collaborate, and also to benefit from the fact that you have value in that accrues to the actual users and creators. So that's what we put together. And look, we haven't nailed it entirely yet. And we take the approach of we put something out there, and then we talk to people and we listen to them and try to figure out the right ways to maneuver towards it. We purposely only launched to really like the Ethereum community to start, and like other people joined, but we kind of really just said, okay, this is for like eat devs, try this, right? And then we've seen that someone will join, they'll have an interest in like wellness, and they're other people kind of start talking to them like, okay, well that's a micro community, or someone will start creating content about DAOs, and other people join in. So now we're just really focused on enabling these people who have kind of these micro interests to have a great place to express those interests. That's
awesome,
the current.
Awesome.
Yeah, but it's like these things evolve, right? So we're trying to figure out the right time where to try to take it mainstream. So we decided not to do the approach of be like, hey, it's the new TikTok, right? Instead we said, okay, let's just focus on make value for one more user, and then over time we'll let it go. I have people all the time come to me and saying, hey, you know what? I'm a food blogger. Could I use this app to kind of connect with the people who follow me, and they could thank me with coins every time I write a good post? I'm like, maybe we're just not there yet.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And to your point about LinkedIn, I find that it's kind of like rampant with LinkedIn pods, where it's like people are sending their posts to be liked by a bunch of other people in a group, and they're just kind of like liking all in like a circle. Whereas with Pepo, since you have to send a little bit of Pepo, you're not just going to be doing that with everyone to kind of like boost your status, because obviously you're going to be losing people by sending it all around. And like I think it's really important that you have genuine, authentic connections, and I think that you guys are kind of hitting the mark with that. So what are some of the next big updates coming for Pepo?
So what we decided to do, our users were telling us that they wanted to have kind of more kind of meaningful connections at like the micro interest level. And so we decided to build this kind of channel experience kicking off at ETH Denver. And so we have about a dozen channels that are launching around the ETH Denver timeframe. So that's around the 14th of February. ETH Denver is one. So anyone going to ETH Denver will be able to connect with each other in the Pepo app. We partnered with ETH Denver to be the official community app for the conference. We're going to live up for that. We're going to build something the community wants to use now. And at the same time, we're launching a channel for ETH scholars. So there's a number of Ethereum scholars going to ETH Denver, and Simona Pop from Consensus is putting together this channel where they'll all be able to share knowledge and communicate each other on Pepo. We have a couple people really passionate about DAOs who are creating a channel about DAOs. And so there's this channel kind of, actually 1 million devs is a project led by Consensus. They're creating a channel on Pepo where basically anyone who has an idea for what developers should be working on in Ethereum can submit a video on Pepo, get it voted up with Pepo coins. And that's going to be presented not just in the Pepo app, but also the videos that be displayed elsewhere. So we're showing you can take the videos and put them in different places. So that's kind of the next big thing we're also working on. There's a number of ways that the tokens are used in the app. Today they're used for personalization and curation. So let's say if I follow you on Pepo, where I like your videos, and then I'll benefit from what you like, and so where you spend your money matters not just for you but also for other people, and helps personalize the experience. We're adding ways that you can basically spend tokens to message people. So if you want to get in touch with someone that you don't know, you do it through the Pepo app, and they'll set their price. That's a really cool use of tokens as well to kind of get rid of the link spam kind of effect. And then we're launching, as I said, these channels, and so you could have, right, to start, all the channels will be public, but then you can go to private channels to pay tokens to be part of. So it's really a way to show the use cases of tokens as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, for example, when I think of giving 500 tokens to users when they start, I think of like Waku, who did that, and then there was a bunch of like bot accounts that kind of took advantage of that. How are you guys like putting in place like ways to prevent, a bunch of people from signing up and then just sending it all to one account, for example, and then like just like withdrawing it all?
Yeah. So there's a few things here. I mean, so one is you need to create a wallet. It's self-custodial. And so there's a little bit of friction to create a wallet. So it's not just that you can't have a bot create the wallet for you. That's one thing. So you need humans to actually create the wallet. You can only have one private key on one Pepo private key on the device, and so you need to have multiple phones in order to do it. So you have tons of phones in order to do that. Then the next thing is that you have to, in order to be able to cash out, we require you right now to actually have a video that's been created. And so now we know what you look like, we know your face, you can tell, okay, we have kind of, our algorithms are looking to see, or did 10 people suddenly send all their tokens to this one person? Is this person really making high quality video or not? And so, we're doing what you'd expect to kind of combat that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, good. That makes sense. So actually, how did Pepo get its name, and what was the kind of like motivation behind originally creating this, or when did the idea start to when did you start to form that idea?
So the really cool thing is, so in 2016, when we started working on this whole like Internet of Money thing and like the concepts, we started the first one, like in a big like app idea we had was, what if we could enable something that influencers could basically monetize their influence directly to their fans and sponsors without having to go through the platforms. And we actually launched an app back in 2016 called Pepo. And I bought the name Pepo back then because I liked, it was Pepo, similar people. It had a very kind of easy to remember kind of name. And we launched an app. We actually got several 100,000 users of it. And then we decided to just put it on pause for a little bit while we focused on getting the crypto technology. And that little bit ended up being 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And so where do you see Pepo fitting in with other maybe similar dApps, or how it's uniquely different, or how maybe it's like kind of the only one doing this in the space? How do you feel that it fits in with the sort of dApp ecosystem, and then maybe also how it compares to just like legacy apps that are not crypto?
Yeah, a couple things. So one is, first of all, people should check out the Pepo app because you'll see the experience immediately is so vastly different from almost every other dApp. You do not need to connect MetaMask or use a kind of a wallet extension or toggle between between two different apps in order to to use the wallet. There's no gas involved. You don't need to sign transactions. We've invented something called session keys that basically the private key that you get put on your device interacts with the multi-sig that authorizes these execution keys to do low value transactions. You can just like pop, hit the like button without having to manually sign every transaction. Super slick. You don't need to write down 12 words. Part of our wallet recovery process is based on a 6-digit PIN and a secret that's split into 3 parts. And that's all from smart contracts. So a lot of stuff going on in the Pepo app that just makes the user experience really slick and seamless. And so, a number of folks have said it's the best crypto UX they've seen, and we really pride ourselves on that. And we hope more apps can look at that and kind of say, okay, we want to have UX that feels like this, and that hopefully will lead more of them to try things like the OST technology that enables it, or to build things that also enable that. And so I think it's one of the biggest areas where we differentiate is around the user experience. That you can use Pepo and never even have to know that it's crypto. It's additive to the experience rather than kind of feeling like it's a step backwards. And so I think one of the biggest problems that so many dApps have had is people have a very low threshold for kind of taking 2 steps backwards just because it involves some new technology. People will do it if they find like they can earn a lot of money or by doing so, but for the most part, people aren't going to put up with a lot of pain from somebody if they're used to having really an experience like this, and then it's like so much worse. But there's only so much pain people put up with, and so we think Pepo solved for a lot of the kind of the UX challenges that we're plaguing, and then also having on ramps and off ramps, and that's something we've solved from a regulatory kind of FinCEN standpoint. We work closely with Apple to get the app approved for kind of top up in the app and cash out options, which was not an easy task to do, and something that we're very proud of. And I'd say just our biggest hurdle is comparing, as you said, to legacy apps, because end users, they don't care if it's an app or a dApp, they just care that it works and that it solves their need. And so it's like when I say we want to be kind of a better LinkedIn, people are going to compare us to LinkedIn, not to LinkedIn, right? And some people often say we're kind of crypto TikTok, and I mean TikTok's an awesome app. So it's like if we're going to be compared to TikTok, we got to be as good as TikTok, which is tough. So that's the harder part. Is the legacy apps are really good, Snapchat's really good, Instagram's really good. Just adding crypto alone is not enough. You got to actually create a use case or solve a pain point that people have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what a lot of dApps fail to do is to keep the performance and the quality that you would expect with legacy apps, and they say they're doing it in the name of privacy or decentralization, but for the average non-crypto user, they can't really appreciate that. So so they don't really get the same kind of they don't draw as many people. So what in
Can I say
we're looking at?
I'm a really avid kind of UX researcher, user researcher, product researcher, and I would say if you really believe that your USP is privacy, let's say, go find an area where the users are so passionate about privacy and build an app for them, and it'll work. But if you just build a generic app and say the difference we have is that it has privacy built in, people are not going to care. You have to find the people who have this particular use case for that privacy or whatever the dimension is that you're trying to kind of show that you're better at. You got to start with people that they really care for this problem. They care about this dimension.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're looking at Pepo in the long term, where do you hope to see it go in the next year, and then in the next 5 years, given crypto and everything works out? What's the ideal vision?
Yeah, I mean, look, we created Pepo as a showcase app of the OST technology, but we took it very seriously. We said we're going to look for real use cases and lean into them. And now we really think that Pepo can be the best app for micro communities to have authentic conversations and to gather and so that's a mission, right? And that's something we think we can do. We also think that there's an opportunity to basically make Pepo the app where you can create and earn, and it could be an app where where any influencer or creator can show what they're working on and earn money for it. It might be 2 apps. It might be one. I'm not sure yet. It might be that we just basically create a kind of spin out version of it, which is okay too, right? And I don't really have well, in 5 years, here's where we'll be. What I do want to see is lots and lots of really cool use cases of the technology that we built, and if these are 1 or 2 of them, that's great, and then third parties make others, that's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. So what exchanges or where can people trade or find Pepo right now, or Is OST also a crypto, or is that the underlying network?
Yes, great question. So the Pepo coins themselves are only in the app. So you can only send them to people who are members of Pepo, but they are on a blockchain and they're on the OST layer 2 Ethereum blockchain. And the way they get their value is basically the protocol we wrote back in 2017. The whole purpose of that protocol is that you take a token, any ERC20 token, and you basically lock that token into a smart contract on layer 1, and that creates almost like the gold reserve, the basis of the value for what you create on layer 2. So in the case of the Pepo coin, you take, and you can create whatever mapping you want, and it's fixed in the contract. So it's a 1-to-1, for instance, Pepo, and one OST token is one Pepo coin. So whatever the price of OST is today, it's about 1 cent. The price of a Pepo coin is today. If it goes 2 cents tomorrow, everyone's just twice as, their Pepo coins are worth twice as much. The way our technology works is you can use the OST token for that, or you can use any ERC20 you want. Right now we have support for USDC. We have clients asking us if they can use DAI or ETH. We're agnostic to it. We just want you to use the tools. And then the OST token is also used to reward validators who are helping validate the transactions on the side chains.
Okay, awesome. So if people want to invest in Pepo, so to speak, from a blockchain perspective, they should be looking at OST.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what is the current user base size right now, and how is it growing currently?
Yeah, so we purposely kept it to just early adopters right now as we kind of do this initial research and learning and like all these intensive conversations. There's a few thousand users. The cool thing is they've done nearly 100,000 transactions, peer-to-peer decentralized transactions. And we're gearing up for the next big kind of user push around the December timeframe. So in a couple of weeks, we just a couple of days ago released the ability to, the new version of the app, you can log in. At first, you could only log in with Twitter. Now you can log in also with Apple ID or with your email, Gmail, or with GitHub, so targeting for developers. So that's just like creating a more open, kind of welcome environment for people who are not, on Twitter or don't want to use their Twitter. And then our plan is to really start making a push kind of in a couple of weeks towards going from a few thousand users to tens of thousands and then hundreds of thousands of users.
Awesome. So where can everyone go to learn more about Pepo?
Yeah, so please, first download the app. I mean, the best way to experience Pepo is to just download it. iOS, Android, type PEPO. Try it out. It's real simple. You'll be up and running in a matter of seconds. Press the Pepo like button, and you'll see, wow, I just sent someone a cent. It's really cool, and just how smooth it is. And then you can obviously learn more on our website at pepo.com.
Awesome. And where can they follow outside of Pepo? Like, what are some of the Twitter and what are the different handles for them to keep up with you guys?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. So my Twitter is BetaShop, BETASHOP. Been using BetaShop for 12 years now, I guess. And the official Twitter of the app is the Pepo app, THEPEPO app. So yeah, follow us on Twitter and learn more.
Awesome. Well, that is everything that I have. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before we end this off?
Just thanks for having me. And, we love talking to people who use the app and give us feedback and trying to figure out use cases.
Awesome. All right. Well, everyone, make sure to go and download Pepo. Try it out for yourself. It's really, really awesome. I've been using it for a while now. And, check it out and let everyone else know what you think. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this. I really appreciate it. I think everyone could have learned a little bit from watching this and learn a little bit about what you're up to and what OST is and what Pepo's all about. So again, thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Cheers.
All right.